The great kale craze is crazy, folks. The point here is, if you are eating a lot of raw kale daily in your salads, smoothies, etc., and thinking this is healthy because of that health halo that is conferred upon kale, you are probably causing you and your biome to be impacted in a significant and negative way. When you hear the word superfood, or somebody waxes prophetic about a device or app or specific training modality, just remember, you actually can get too much of a good thing. Okay, one of the first myths I'd like to bust is what I call the health halo. And I have to admit, this is a pet peeve of mine because every time I hear about a new superfood, miracle supplement, some new technology or app, or an exercise program guaranteed to get results, my radar perks up. Most of the time, my bias kicks in, and I have to rein it in by channeling that bias into taking a deeper dive and look into the science of whatever I'm looking at. And most of the time, my hunch is right, but right in that murky middle way. And while there are often some benefits, the overpromotion leads to some serious negatives due to the overconsumption. So I'd like to give you a few examples of the health halo, and this will give you the tools to understand what I'm talking about so that you can understand this and use it in your life. The first one is kale and other cruciferous vegetables. Kale has been touted as a superfood forever. Even way back in the 1970s, this impossible to kill leafy green was touted as healthy because it kept models of the day really thin. And therein lies a clue. Kale is a very selfish plant, and like every other living organism in this grand sphere of life, it wants to survive. And kale, even after cut and served and in your digestive tract, is binding up minerals and nutrients. It's hoarding them. And this is due to the phytates and lectins in kale and why those models were skinny. They were malnourished. So the great kale craze is crazy, folks. But let's venture into the quicksands of that murky middle to get some context. The point here is, if you are eating a lot of raw kale daily in your salads, smoothies, etc., and thinking this is healthy because of that health halo that is conferred upon kale, you are probably causing you and your biome to be impacted in a significant and negative way. Generally, the first thing that causes a problem is iodine deficiency, leading to goiter and thyroid issues because iodine is so crucial to thyroid health, but in such minute amounts. On the other hand, the occasional kale salad, not such a bad thing, and it can actually have beneficial effects. And cooked kale removes almost all of the anti-nutrient properties and helps with digestibility. And this is pretty much true for all other cruciferous vegetables. A little fresh and raw on occasion, not such a bad thing. Cooked or even fermented like sauerkraut and kimchi, even better. But in terms of nutritional value, do kale and other cruciferous vegetables deserve a health halo, which drives people to overconsume them? Not so much. Now the second example is seed oils, or our seed oils, excuse my grammar. In the past couple of decades, all kinds of seed oils have been paraded out and conferred health halos. And again, my radar spiked. Sure, relative to vegetable oils derived from corn and soybeans, these oils are better. But this is relative and only a partial message used to confer the health halo upon seed oils like flax, chia, canola, otherwise known as rapeseed, hemp, sunflower, and other seed oils. And this is similar to the myth and health halo of whole grains versus processed grains. Seed oils tend to be high in polyunsaturated fatty acids, otherwise known as PUFAs. And this type of oil oxidizes easily, thus can go rancid and or create free radicals and then inflammation. So while your body needs a certain amount of PUFAs, it is about getting that right amount instead of what happens when a health halo is stuck on a seed oil. Too much And too much means excess PUFAs and a significant increase in that potential for oxidative stress from free radicals and the resulting inflammation. And there's actually more. Seed oils are actually very high in phytoestrogen, estrogen-like compounds produced by plants which bind to estrogen receptor sites in both males and females. Again, a little is probably benign and may even confer a beneficial effect, but placing a health halo on a seed oil almost guarantees overconsumption. So you get too much phytoestrogens. Now the third one is liver. Yes, liver. And I'm doing this to provide balance so I'm not seen as picking on plant-based foods. So I am going to put one of my favorite foods on the health halo food altar and sacrifice it. Liver. In paleo and carnivore circles, liver is considered a superfood, thus conferred a health halo. And this is because liver is a fine example of what a superfood really is in every sense. Liver is nutritionally packed and bioavailable source of vitamins, minerals, long-chain fatty acids, and proteins like no other food on the planet. But again, placing it up on that health halo gives liver that idea that you need to have lots of it, and overconsumption occurs. And overconsumption of liver-based foods and supplements. And once again, in this case, we're getting too much of a good thing. And one other thing about liver, always remember when you're consuming liver or liver-based products, consume down the food chain rather than up. Now, what all this comes to is modern marketing. We are sold and told a well-intended, simplified, and partial message in a singular context. And this is because it's convenient and goes right to the core of that survival instinct, which causes us to overconsume. Now, in my 20 years of paying attention to human health and performance in my fat-adapted journey, one thing about nutrition that continually strikes me is this: less is more. Now that is, when you get your metabolism back to burning fat for your aerobic energy source the way nature intended, and achieve that dynamic balance in your nutrition, it continually amazes me how little you need, how good you feel, and how well you perform. So, when you hear the word superfood, or somebody waxes prophetic about a device or app or a specific training modality, just remember, you actually can get too much of a good thing.